General Motors will attack its critics tomorrow. The issue, the safety of side-mounted gas tanks.
For Sunday night, February 7th, this is News 5 Nightbeat.
Live from the News Center of Mid-Michigan, Eric Jylha, Jennifer Levine, and Todd Arner. This is News 5 Nightbeat, Weekend Edition.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. One of the big stories of the upcoming week will be General Motors trying to show that tests on pickups with side-mounted gas tanks were rigged to make the trucks appear unsafe.
A news conference at company headquarters tomorrow will launch a counterattack against critics who say the pickup trucks are not safe.
Bruce Hall reports GM will not only rebut the charges, but may also file suits against those critics.
General Motors is expected to launch a major legal and public relations campaign to repair its reputation after losing a court case last week over the safety of its pickup trucks. GM is expected to accuse NBC and several consumer groups of rigging test results, so it appeared that the placement of gas tanks made many full-size pickup trucks unsafe. Last week, a jury in Atlanta returned a $105 million verdict against GM in the 1989 death of a teenager. His parents called on GM to get the trucks off the road.
You don't even have to own one. All you have to do is hit one. That's our concern. I don't want them on the road. I've got another son.
Shannon Mosley was killed when a car smashed into the side of his GMC truck and it burst into flames. Critics contend the automaker needs to put the gas tanks inside the frame, so the frame would become a protective barrier.
If GM, however, will not take action and recall this pickup truck, then we sincerely hope that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration will do so.
Rather than recalling the trucks, General Motors apparently will file suits against NBC and several consumer groups and insist the 5 million GM trucks made between 1973 and 1987 are safe. Bruce Hall, NBC News.
The big three are looking over statistics to see whether or not to file dumping charges against Japanese automakers for allegedly selling their cars and trucks in the U.S. for less than they charge at home. Ford Chairman Harold Poling kept the heat on Japan yesterday to cut its trade surplus. He cautioned car dealers at their annual convention their businesses hang in the balance on the issue. A United Auto Workers local honored one of its leaders today by dedicating their auditorium in his honor.
UAW Local 659 in Flint is the home of the famous sit-down strike of 1936, has a tradition of making history.
News 5's Mark Lyman has the story.
The auditorium at UAW 659's Glenwood Hall is now known as the Stephen P. Yokich Auditorium, and with it all the honors that go with the title: portrait, speeches, even standing ovations. Union President Joe Duplanty feels Yokich is one man the whole local can stand behind, and for good reason.
You know, some things that we went through here, such as the strike right down here in East AC West, the assistance that we got on the V8 engine plant. Steve has been there, not that others haven't, but he's one man that stands out.
Yokich came to the aid of AC West workers in 1990 when they walked off the job here in Flint. Yokich earned the respect of this UAW local, but he says he was only doing his job.
Everybody thought it meant something special, and it was sending a strong signal, and I listened to all that and read all that. And quite frankly, it's just they had a real problem, and that's how we've been working together.
Yokich said he will continue to fight for UAW 659 members as he fights to keep Flint's V8 engine plant open.
We have 2 contracts before that Flint engine. We'll continue to build Flint V8s till 1997. And I think that's for the majority of the workforce, and I think that gives us time or the economy to pick up, the market share to pick up, hundreds of things that could happen.
This local union gave Yokich its promise to meet those upcoming challenges together in a show of solidarity. Mark Lyman, News 5 in Flint.
Business leaders, auto parts suppliers, and bean growers are among the diverse groups expected to join the governor on a trade trip to Mexico next month. This is going to be the first trip to Mexico for a seated Michigan governor. While there, Engler will meet with heads of state to promote Michigan products. Commerce Director Arthur Ellis and Agricultural Head Bill Schutte will also be along on the trip. By the way, help is on the way for mid-Michigan corn farmers who were left with soggy, underweight crops after a poor corn growing season. Presently, farmers aren't eligible for federal aid unless they have low yields. A bill introduced by Congressman Dave Camp would make crop quality a factor in disaster assistance, and Senator Donald Regal has proposed legislation allowing grants to farmers and related businesses that were hurt by the unseasonable weather this spring. Still to come on the Night Beat, reports indicate the president is looking for a new FBI leader. We'll tell you who's in the running.
But first, a man is behind bars after creating some tense moments at the 3 Mile Island power plant. Those stories and more when Night Beat continues. A 31-year-old man remains jailed tonight after breaking into the 3 Mile Island power plant in Pennsylvania. Police say Pierce Nye drove past a guard without permission, then crashed through a gate to make his way into a building that houses electrical generating equipment. Authorities declared a site emergency, the second highest level of emergency, but continued operating as usual. Police did not find any explosives and nothing appeared to be tampered with. Police found Nye hiding underneath a piece of machinery and arrested him. Police later learned Nye spent some time in a hospital mental ward. The TMI power plant is the site of the worst nuclear accident in U.S. history. And in Washington, D.C., the lawyer for Oregon Senator Bob Packwood says the Senate Ethics Committee is the right place to investigate further sexual harassment charges against Packwood. 13 additional women claim Packwood kissed or fondled them. That brings the number to 23 of women who claim the senator made sexual advances towards them. Reports out today indicate the Clinton administration is looking for a replacement for FBI Director William Sessions. The New York Times reports that the administration is compiling names of possible successors already. The list includes former New York Police Commissioner Lee Brown, former Illinois Governor James Thompson, a Republican, and a former Clinton advisor Lee Caldwell. Yesterday, the Los Angeles Times reported that the White House has decided to let Sessions go following charges by the Justice Department that he abused the office for personal gain.
Scores of people around the world are mourning the loss of tennis legend Arthur Ashe. He died yesterday in New York at age 49. And as Julian Phillips reports, he will be missed for what he did both on and off the court.
Arthur was so special. Because of his quiet courage and selflessness, which made a lasting impact on those he touched.
His last gesture to me earlier that day, as he underwent more procedures, was simply like this.
Even near death, Arthur Ashe was composed, always the gentleman, not defeated by AIDS, but breathing his last breath, wishing others with AIDS to live their lives as if there is hope for a cure.
I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I've had a, terrific life. I'm going to be around a lot longer.
At New York Hospital, the attending physician and Donald Dell, his attorney and personal friend of over 2 decades, spoke for the family in mourning.
Arthur was the ultimate competitor in tennis and in life, said Jeannie Ashe.
It was AIDS-related pneumonia that Ashe finally succumbed to 3/13 Saturday afternoon. A man that was symptom-free up until recently, remarkably with his hectic schedule after taking up the banner for AIDS in addition to promoting his love for tennis. According to Dell, Ashe's most gratifying accomplishment perhaps was not on the tennis court.
I think Arthur would have thought his greatest moment was speaking before the United Nations about AIDS.
The winter sun cast long shadows over the Frederick Johnson tennis courts in Harlem, affectionately called the Jungle. It was here that Ashe practiced and conducted clinics for inner-city kids. Today they played football, but it was Arthur Ashe they had on their minds.
I felt happy because I see a black man playing tennis and making money and stuff like that, not on the streets.
Arthur Ashe felt much is expected of the strong, and he lived up to those expectations 100-fold. But to suggest his impact might be felt just among young children, African Americans, and the tennis world is a big mistake. Julian Phillips, News 4, New York.
And still ahead on the Night Beat, we'll go to the Snowfest in Frankenmuth.
We'll be right back.
Town of Frankenmuth has been transformed into a giant art gallery of sorts.
Ice says snow sculptures are everywhere, the end result of 5 days of carving from local and international artists.
Well, today was the final day of Snowfest 93, and News 5's Rick Mixter shows us what the best had to offer.
Leave it to Frankenmuth to turn a snow carving championship into a party. This is year 2 for Snowfest, and it's already grown bigger. This year it featured the state of Michigan Snow and Ice Carving Championships, attracting not only the best carvers in the state, but the best in the world for an international exhibition. The event started Wednesday when carvers were presented with 10-foot blocks of snow. Each day added more detail to the sculptures, and despite a horrible warm-up on Friday, most of the statues were ready for judging today.
Well, the first day, actually, it looked like a pig to most people. The second day, we got to almost a hippopotamus, and yesterday they were calling it a rhino, so we felt pretty good.
These men from the Winnebago Indian Nation in Wisconsin were still putting details into their sculpture while the judges made their final decisions.
We hardly got into the detail. You know, we just got everything blocked. We hardly got into the detail at all. Like this, the whole side of the blanket has 2 wrinkles in it, and that's it, you know, and it could have folds and everything. But we're going to work on it until we leave, just for the sake of finishing it.
That dedication helped them take the People's Choice Award in the international exhibition. The rest of the scores hadn't been tallied when I was there, but an informal poll picked a few other People's Choices.
My favorite one would probably be the one Herb Brody did about, what's that one he's got down there, right?
It's like a baby dinosaur coming out of the egg.
Baby dinosaur coming out of the egg. That's a real nice one.
Yeah, the favorite I got is over there, that one with that bear house over there. You know, the bears would turn that crap house over. That's one good one right there.
Unfortunately, all of this artwork is only temporary. A good warm day will destroy all of this hard work. The good news is that plans are already underway for next year's competition.
We don't want to just repeat the same thing over and over and over again. There'll be more and different and better next year.
Rick Mixter, News 5, Frankenmuth.
Well,
good weather for snow sculptures.
Sure, but then it turned kind of lousy as we got into the evening with freezing drizzle over a lot of mid-Michigan, and that's made roads quite slick. Been a number of accidents around the area, and walking is kind of hazardous too, so watch it if you're walking or driving tonight. It is very slick. Tri-Cities at 31, Flint and Owasso at 32 for the highs today. State high made it up to 38 in Detroit. The lows 10 and 9 respectively. 5 below at the Sioux was the state low earlier this morning. And as we look at conditions this hour, 34 is the warmest reading in Kalamazoo. We're right behind it. Saginaw at 31, so is Midland. 30 in Bay City, 32 for Flint and Owasso. And with the temperatures there, you can see where the slippery spots are. Humidity at 96%, winds are west at 8, the barometer 29.94, and it is rising. Our satellite shot shows you the mixture of weather today. Windy in the southeast, wintry in the southwest. A system coming off the Pacific has caused winter storm watches to be posted tonight for parts of California. The Sierras are going to get heavy snow again tonight and tomorrow, and that will continue to drop a lot of precipitation as that whole front moves into Arizona. Meanwhile, in the southeast, heavy rain. Parts of Georgia and the Carolinas had an inch or more fall this afternoon. And right in the middle of the country where there's no precipitation, it was unseasonably warm. Parts of Missouri into the mid-60s today, setting records that go back to the mid-1950s. Our forecast map for tomorrow shows high pressure with cold and clear weather right over Michigan, and the precipitation that we're getting in some areas will start to slide off to the east, and New England will get it next. Our forecast then for tonight, there is a chance of flurries or freezing drizzle, but most of the night will be partly cloudy. We'll have a low of 15 to 20, drop a few more degrees than what we have right now. Tomorrow, partly sunny, the high 25 to 30, and then tomorrow night should be partly cloudy, 10 to 15, and it looks like most of the early part of the week will be along that line, but as we get towards next weekend, we could have significant snowfall, and we'll know more about that as the week goes along here on TV5.
All right, sports news, Pistons play tonight.
Busy day.
Yeah, Michigan basketball, the Pro Bowl, and the wrap-up of the Midland Dow Corning Tennis Tournament in Midland. That and more in a minute. Well, good Sunday evening. Joe Dumars and the Pistons played some great basketball tonight, and some pretty bad basketball, too. When the game with Seattle was over, not even an early 12-point lead would be enough to bring the Detroiters a victory this evening at the Palace. Pistons with a strong second quarter, netting 37. Mark Aguirre with one of his 5 threes there. Aguirre, another long ball. He finished with 20 tonight. Sean Kemp, look at this move to the hole, taking it strong in a crowd. He had 22 to lead the Sonics. Joe Dumars battled the flu bug, but finished with a team-high 25. Detroit led by 9 at the break, but scored just 19 points in the third. Kemp, check this acrobatic catch out and the hoop. He's got it down. Sonics led 103-101 closing seconds. Dumars on the drive, puts it up. It won't go. Bounces around, knocked out of bounds, and the Pistons will keep it. And Ron Rothstein says, we get one more chance. Dumars again on the inbounds, Paul. Spin. Dumars up and nothing but air. The ball slapped around, and that's it. It's over. The Pistons lose by 2, falling to 19-25 on the year. Now, you've seen people shatter backboards, but check out what Magic rookie Shaquille O'Neal did against Phoenix today. He goes up, and wow, and the thing just collapses. I mean, look at this. It looks like it just got exhausted from holding on to his weight, and it goes down. I mean, I could dunk on that rim. 35 minutes while they had to find a replacement for this backboard. The game was delayed. Check it out. Shaq saying, yeah, that's not too bad. Charles Barkley to Richard Dumas for the sissy dunk. Can't even destroy the backboard. Phoenix wins at 121-105. And, hey, Shaq, what about that backboard buster?
I think this backboard company will attest to.
I think I was just in the right place at the right time. I just pulled it, spring pops, and it broke.
Just that simple. It broke. Chicago beat Portland today 101-91. Boston 87-82 winners over Golden State. It was New Jersey 105, Milwaukee 102, and New York took care of Miami 104-82. The Michigan Wolverines hosted Purdue in Big Ten action this afternoon, and while one of the Fab Five celebrated his birthday, it turned out really to be a day that was fit for a king. This king happened to be Jimmy King. Watch Ray Jackson on the miss. King with a putback up and in, showing how they do it down in Texas. Jalen Rose on the alley-oop. King with a catch and the hoop up in the air. He had a career-high 24. First-year man Glenn Robinson for Purdue. He tried to keep it close. Kansas 3. He finished with 31. But Michigan is too much. The birthday boy, Juwan Howard, with 2 of his 18 points. And, of course, what would a Michigan highlight reel be without a Chris Webber reverse slam? Not as close as the score would indicate. Michigan 84-76. Wolves 18-3, 7-2 in the Big Ten. And they will host Wisconsin on Wednesday. Here are some other college basketball scores. Number 3, Kansas, upset in this year of the upset, 68-64 by unranked Nebraska. Number 8, Arizona, 93-81 winners over California. Wake Forest took care of Temple, 106-69. And another ranked team goes down. 18th rated Tulane falls to NC Charlotte in overtime, 68-64. Well, the finals of the week-long Dow Corning Tennis Tournament were held in Midland today, and it turned out to be a bit nostalgic for the winner. Roz Fairbank Niderfer began her pro career 15 years ago playing in small tournaments similar to this one. And as that career draws to an end, she's back in the winner's circle once again. Third-seeded Fairbank Niderfer with the serve. Battle number 4 seed Debbie Graham in the singles final. And battle they did as the first set went to a tiebreaker. And Niderfer scoring a point with the backhander there. Leading 7-6 in the breaker. Fairbank Niderfer with the strong serve. Graham will not get it back. And look at that. And it's 7-6 in the first set. Now that long first set seemed to take a toll on Graham, with the older Fairbank Niderfer rarely in trouble in the second set and puts it away right there. As she went up 4-1, and then this double fault from Graham ended the set and the match. Ross Fairbank Niderfer wins in straight sets, 7-6, 6-2. She takes home the $5,000 top prize and something a bit more.
And it also gives me an overview of my whole career. I can put it in perspective and see, how my career's progressed. And to win an event like this is really special to me, especially at this stage of my career.
And in the doubles final, local favorite Meredith McGrath teamed up with second seed Patty Fendick against Caroline DeLille and Jean Sinisa. Now the partisan crowd, look at this action right there. It goes right in between Sinisa and DeLille. The partisan crowd would not be disappointed as McGrath and Fendick would take the title 7-6, 6-2 as Meredith puts that one away. All in all, a pretty good week of tennis in Midland.
We reached well over 15,000 people we were hoping for during the week. I've had nothing but great comments from everybody, from the players, from the spectators, from the sponsors. So I think we're on a real roll. We've made it 5 years, and I have very good feelings that we'll be here another 5 years.
All right, nice job out there. NFL's Pro Bowl tonight in Hawaii. NFL's Steve Young and NFC's picked off by the Chargers. Junior Seau, he's going to ramble 31 yards for the AFC touchdown. A couple of local guys involved in this play. Young looking for Flint's Andre Rison, but it's broken up by Saginaw's Terry McDaniel. Play with a couple of local guys there. Nice action. Super Bowl MVP Troy Aikman will look and find his teammate Michael Irving for 6. That made it 13-13. McDaniel returns a block punt for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. It is now 20-13. The AFC leads in that fourth quarter. In hockey action this afternoon, the Junior Gears hosting the Detroit Freeze tonight. The puck pops out. Watch Josh Bilbin. The light goes on. It's 4-3, the Freeze in the second. And Coach Warren Holmes needs a drink after that one. The puck goes in front. Number 44, Clark, will make it 5-3. Taylor Clark. And watch this flurry in the final seconds. Gears have pulled their goalie to apply some extra pressure, but Clark will intercept it. Clark will send it, and it's in there. The Gears fall to Detroit by a final score of 6-3. Well, Brett Ogle may be a new name to watch for in the '93 golf season. The Australian put up with a steady rain today at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, shooting a final round 71. Right there, dropping the tee shot over the trap, about 15 feet away from the pin. Now, he finished 12 under par to record his first PGA win, beating Billy Ray Brown today by 3 strokes. And, by the way, Dale Earnhardt, a big beginning to Speed Week. The Daytona is a week from today down in the NASCAR race, and he won both sides of the Busch Clash today, so a strong start for him.
Okay, and we're all going to go back to the Snowfest after this. Coming up on News 5 tomorrow, General Motors will hold that news conference where company leaders are expected to accuse NBC and special interest groups for the explosive truck testing results. We'll have complete coverage of the press conference and reaction, of course. And Sam Merrill will begin his series Young Guns on News 5 at 6, taking a look at school kids and firearms, where the latest trend seems to be reading, writing, and dodging bullets. That's coming up tomorrow on News 5.
Okay, and we will leave you with a look at Snowfest 93 in Saginaw. Videographer Rick Mixter put together some nice pictures for us, looking at the highlights. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next weekend.